My neighbor invited me over to Hookup, but when I got there, you won't believe what happened. This is a true story that will leave you breathless and show how appearances can be dangerously deceiving. But before you start, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share this story. Now, I'm going to tell you everything that happened, and please don't leave before the end, because that's the part that will surprise you the most. My mother always had a very strong opinion about the men I dated. She was always telling me that I had a tendency to choose men who were no good, that if I had 3 suitors, 2 good and 1 bad, I would definitely choose the bad one. This conversation was repeated constantly at home. For a long time, my neighbor tried to get close to me, but I never paid much attention. He lived next door, and according to my mother, he was the perfect example of a good boy. She always commented on how well-behaved he was, how she never saw him leaving the house to party or drink. The only thing she noticed was him leaving for work in the morning and coming back at the end of the day, always with the same routine. My mother was so insistent that I should give him a chance that I eventually decided to listen to her advice. I started talking to my neighbor more, being more receptive when he tried to make conversation. Gradually, our closeness grew. We had a few romantic moments on my doorstep, a few kisses, and I began to feel that maybe my mother was right about him. After a few weeks of getting to know each other better, he made me an invitation that would change everything. He suggested that I come over to his place in the evening so that we could be more comfortable, since he lived alone. I completely understood what he was suggesting, and to be honest, I was also interested in taking our relationship to the next level. We arranged for me to go to his house at midnight. I left the house prepared for what might happen. I even chose special lingerie, because I was aware that our relationship could become more intimate that night. I was excited and nervous at the same time, but confident in my decision. When I arrived at his house and entered, I was faced with a completely unexpected situation. He was not alone. There were 2 of his friends in the room, 2 very tall and strong men, who seemed to be specifically waiting for me to arrive. I was completely confused and uncomfortable with the situation. He introduced me to his friends casually, as if it were something normal. I greeted them both politely, but immediately asked to speak to him in private. I asked why his friends were there, since he had invited me so we could be comfortable, just the 2 of us. His answer left me in shock. He told me that his friends also wanted to be a part of what was going to happen between us. When I asked him what he was taking part in, he made it clear that he was referring to the intimate encounter we were going to have. He was suggesting that I be with all 3 of them at the same time. I was outraged and told him that he was completely crazy if he thought I would do something like that. At that moment, a feeling of panic took hold of me. I began to think that this could be a trap, that the 3 of them might force me to do something against my will. I told him that I would leave immediately, and that if he tried to stop me, I would yell for the neighbors to call the police. He tried to calm me down, saying that he wouldn't do anything against my will and that his friends weren't violent people either. He insisted that I should relax and enjoy the experience, mentioning that they had done this before with other women. As he tried to convince me, one of his friends came up behind me and started hugging me and kissing my neck. The neighbor kept telling me to relax and enjoy the moment. For some reason that I still can't fully explain, I ended up giving in to the situation. I started kissing the neighbor, then the friend who was hugging me, and when the 3rd man approached, I kissed him too. They invited me to go to the bedroom, saying that it would be more comfortable. Even though I was hesitant, I ended up agreeing. What happened in that room is something I never imagined I would do in my entire life. I had never been with more than 1 person at the same time, but at that moment, I confess that I ended up enjoying the experience. It was something intense and different from anything I had ever experienced. I went home that morning feeling strange, but not necessarily regretful. I hadn't expected that night to have any consequences beyond the experience itself. I was terribly wrong. The next day, my neighbor called me over to his house again. When I got there, he had his phone in his hand and said he wanted to show me something. When I saw what was on the phone screen, my world completely fell apart. It was a video of everything that had happened the night before. Not just one simple shot, but multiple shots from different angles, as if there had been professional cameras strategically placed in the room. It had all been filmed without my knowledge or consent. I stood there in complete shock. I asked him what permission he had given me to film me like that. His answer was even more shocking than the discovery of the video. He told me that I had 2 options. pay him a specific amount of money, or he would sell the video to an adult website. He showed me exactly how much the site would pay for the video, and I discovered that he had sold similar videos before. The price he was asking was way too high, an amount I could never afford. I was in complete despair. All I could think about was my family watching that video, especially my parents. The humiliation and shame they would feel left me desperate. I begged him not to do that to me, but he was adamant. I asked for 2 days to get the money, and he agreed to give me that time. I left his house completely disoriented, not knowing how I would get that amount of money, and afraid of what would happen if I didn't. After much thought, I made a decision that I knew would be dangerous for me, and would put me even more at risk. I knew that if I did that, more people would find out about the situation, but I had no other choice. I decided to go to the police and file a report against them. It was the best decision I could have made. When I filed a report and told them everything that had happened, providing the addresses and names of those involved, the police began an investigation that revealed something much bigger than we had imagined. They discovered that this was not just my isolated case, but a real gang specialized in filming women without their consent, and then blackmailing them or selling the videos. In the neighbor's house, the police found several videos of other women, and the worst part, many of them were minors. His room had been specially prepared for those crimes, with cameras installed at various angles to capture everything that happened there. That was why they insisted on taking me to the bedroom, instead of us staying in the living room. The discovery of material involving minors, some as young as 14, made the case even more serious. The police managed to arrest everyone involved before my video was released, which was a huge relief. Of course, I had to explain the whole situation to my family. My parents found out about it, as did other people close to me. I felt exposed and embarrassed, but at least no one saw the video because the police acted quickly. I was really scared of my mother's reaction. She always said that I chose worthless men, and now she would find out that I had gotten involved with a criminal gang. I expected her to be disappointed and angry with me. To my surprise, my mother's reaction was completely different from what I expected. She felt guilty for having encouraged me to give my neighbor a chance. She apologized several times, hugged me, and said that she felt responsible for having exposed me to that situation. I told my mother that she was not to blame, just as I was not. Neither of us could have imagined that behind that good guy facade was hiding a criminal. As the saying goes, you can't see the heart without looking at the face. This story shows us how appearances can be extremely deceiving, and how people who seem trustworthy can hide the worst intentions. This follower's courage in reporting the crime not only protected her, but also saved many other potential victims, especially minors. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching until the end. This true story teaches us the importance of trusting our instincts and never hesitating to seek help when something doesn't feel right. If you liked this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others. Leave a comment telling us what you thought of this story, and if you have ever been in a similar situation. Until the next video, thanks for watching, and always take care.